You entrusted your loved one's care to a nursing home, expecting compassion and quality treatment. Instead, they suffered from neglect, abuse, bed sores, falls, or medication errors that could have been prevented. I'm Chris Brown from Geiger Legal Group. Our elderly deserve dignity and proper care, not negligence that causes pain and suffering. When nursing homes fail in their duty of care, we fight to hold them accountable. Your loved one's suffering matters. We'll stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves.
Call Geiger Legal Group at 833-HELP-GLG and let us tell your story today.
You snoozed twice this morning, spilled your coffee once, and you've already blamed last night's referee for your morning mood.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's time to embrace the chaos and step into the madness.
Bro, you about to see a side of me you didn't even know existed.
Featuring guests who are over-caffeinated and less reasonable than the average person.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Come on, man. Are you serious? Ugh.
Fans, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Welcome to the show.
So buckle up. It's time for hot takes and hot mics. This is the Morning Rant, where the only thing more unpredictable is Dave before his third cup of coffee.
I just felt like running.
On WPGY, the Sports Pig.
Good Monday morning. It's the Morning Rant right here on WPGY, the Sports Pig. Dave Garner alongside the big man, John Davis. And when I say alongside, I mean literally today, man. You and I are across the table from each other. We've got Big John, the refrigerator mover, in the house here inside our Carriage Kia studios. Thanks for joining us right here on this Monday morning program, our Monday morning quarterback edition of the show. Later on, again, our Mafia Monday weekend rewind there as we talk about some of the things that went down over the weekend. But, John, man, how you doing, buddy?
Man, great weekend. My driver brought me up here today, so I'm doing good.
I was going to say, you have your daughter with you, Olivia, in town, and then you've got one of your grandbabies too, man.
Yeah, Henry, the oldest, came up with us, and he wanted to see what Pops was doing and where he was working and everything. So yeah, they drove me up, and we're looking forward to spending the day together.
There you go, man. I love it. Yeah, he had the matching Georgia Tech polo, which was awesome. So, yeah, man, you guys are right there together. Busy weekend, of course. World Cup, obviously, is kind of the talk of the town right now, really the talk of the world, if you will. And Atlanta, kind of one of those areas that's really hyper-focused because of, just the matches that we've hosted, the fan turnout, all the different things. Atlanta making a lot of noise in the world of World Cup. And now that we're down to the 32, there was a match yesterday, actually, a knockout match, a round of 32 match between Canada and South Africa. And I actually watched it. And I don't know, you and I kind of talk about it and everything. But, yeah, man, Canada and stoppage time, it was 0-0. It was a great match, though, because both teams were just going back and forth, attacking each other like crazy. Canada finally gets one to stick in I think it was the 93rd minute, and they go on to win 1-0. So South Africa eliminated. That was the first match, and now the rest of them will start. I think there's 3 today. I believe Brazil's in action today. A few other matches. Then, of course, Team USA taking on Bosnia and Herzegovina again on Wednesday. I was joking around saying that it's not really fair for the U.S. men's team because they have to play 2 countries, Bosnia and Herzegovina, I think.
Exactly.
But anyway, obviously they're one country. But again, I always wonder about some of those countries, how they have the 2 names.
Right, exactly. And the game, the Canadian game, I turned it right at like 91 minutes. And I'm like, I thought it might have been a commercial or something. I'm like, I'm going to turn it, and then I'll turn it right back. Well, sure enough, I turned it right back.
Yeah.
And they'd already won. They'd already gone to break. And But so that was the first one. I tell you, the matches have gotten better and better as we've gone along. And we talked about at the beginning that the point system was going to play a part in the last 8 teams that got in, and then sure enough it did. So it's made for some good headlines. And I tell you what, there's some good matches here: Brazil, Japan, Germany, Paraguay. Netherlands and Morocco. Morocco's like you would have never thought, but they're ranked pretty high.
Oh, yeah.
There.
Well, they were a semifinalist in the last
was
World
it last?
Cup.
Yeah, the last one. Okay,
yeah, them
so
and Croatia both.
Yeah,
so
there's going to be some good. There's going to be some good soccer. I'm looking forward to it.
Of course, a little bit of breaking news right here on the show. It's kind of timely. We came on the air when we did this morning here on this Monday. The Travelers Championship. It was rained out yesterday. A one-hole playoff this morning. It started at 9 o'clock. It's already over with. It wrapped up about 20 minutes ago. And it is Victor Hovland, the Norwegian, who edged out Scottie Scheffler in a one-hole playoff this morning to win the Tournament Cup. And, what's funny is I think it was Saturday, I believe. Speaking of World Cup and tying this in with golf, the Norwegian fans that have been doing the big Viking row, well, they actually showed up in Connecticut at the Travelers Tournament, and they were cheering on Victor Hovland, again, the Norwegian, and he tapped one in there and at the end of his round, and they all, the Norwegian fans all went crazy showing up at a golf course.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it great? I mean, that's the whole, you put everything else aside, the fans have just been, and that golf needs that. You know what I'm saying? Golf needs that. And almost like the Ryder Cup atmosphere.
Right.
But, no, it was hilarious. And just watching these fans all over the country just take over a city and then just, do what they do, celebrate. And, it's, I tell you, when we went back and talked about it a little bit, one of they did some interviews with some of the fans, and they were like, what's the, again, I'm not to get political, but they're like, what's the best advice that you've gotten coming over here? And they've all said, don't listen to the media.
Yeah.
Because they're all saying, America is completely different than what we're hearing back at home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and it's just amazing, and these fans are just enjoying it. They're embracing it, and they're being a part of it, and that's what makes it so much fun.
Yeah, we talked about the culture, and kind of the interspersing of the cultures kind of bleeding over and everybody really embracing each other. And the food, you're seeing all the viral videos of, Japanese folks, British folks trying Texas barbecue for the first time, and all those things.
Not knowing what it is.
And not knowing what it is.
They're looking at that big beef rib, and he's like, what the hell is this?
Exactly.
And then he takes a bite, and he's like, oh, my God.
Right, yeah. Or going to Buc-ee's and having the brisket or something, and it's funny to see that. But the other thing that I think is cool about it is the fact that now you're seeing a lot of these soccer fans showing up at other sporting events, American sporting events. But, we saw all the fans, from Scotland at the Red Sox game.
Right.
We're seeing all the Norwegian fans showing up at the Travelers, PGA event. Yeah. And I think that's what's cool is you're seeing some of, not only are they taking in the American culture, but also the other sports as well, the sports scene. I just hate it didn't happen during football season because you imagine.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, you're exactly right. But, again, going back to it, that's what makes it so much fun. These people are coming over here, and they're getting to experience. But, you're exactly right. What the hell would have happened during football season?
Right, yeah.
They would have gone absolutely nuts. And, that's the thing. I was thinking yesterday I was going to tell you or talk about it a little bit. We went with the Michaelides, our friends, we went to Dublin to see Tech play a couple of years ago. And they got us tickets. John and Chris got us tickets to the Shelbourne Shelleys, I think. And it couldn't have been 4,000, maybe 5,000 people at most, but they were singing. They had their chants. They were very vicious towards the away team. Apparently, the team that they were playing, they were not well liked. So I can't tell you. I can't tell you what some of the chants said, but it was hilarious just to sit there and listen to them. And they actually made their fans sit in the stands while all of us got to leave.
Yeah,
and so they just kind of they surrounded them with police. Well, and apparently it's a huge rivalry,
right?
And but no, to see that. And to see how the soccer fans are they have their chants, they have their cheers, they have their sayings and everything, and you almost kind of like hope that bleeds over to the NFL to where they kind of you got our Minnesota who does the
Viking clap or whatever it is,
skull or whatever,
right?
They do that, and I mean you got some fans that of teams that do stuff like that, but I mean with the soccer it's just it's from minute one to the end of the game.
Constant chants. Yeah, I think that's what's great. Well, we see that when the NFL does play overseas. And I know you and I are not a big fan necessarily of so many games being played overseas, but when they're over in front of the German fans, they're over in front. Everybody's making a big deal about all the fan bases singing "Country Roads" here. Right. Well, they do that over there when the NFL's over in Germany, when they're over in Spain, like they were. The fan bases are singing "Country Roads, Take Me Home" over in those countries. So again, already a little bit of that as they come over here and kind of embrace our culture, but they see it over there with the NFL. And there are a lot of NFL fans in Europe now. I mean, that's the thing. They really have expanded that fan base.
Goodell's, he's done what he's wanted to do, whether you like it or not. I'm not a fan of it, but I mean, it's like NIL. It's already, the genie's out of the bottle.
Right, exactly.
So it's not going to change. But so they have adapted. Now, I remember going over in 90. Oh, it was probably, February of 90. We took a trip with Bill Fralick, Keith Willis, and another guy from the Giants through the armed forces.
Okay.
And we went to Germany and went to a lot of the bases and stuff. And it was picking up then. But their professional football in 1990 was about like and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but it was about like our Pee Wee football here in Jasper or Ellijay.
Very JV.
Very, very not good at all.
Yeah.
And so, because we would have clinics, or we would do stuff for them while we were there for the week. But over time, it's gotten a lot better. And of course, I haven't talked to Coach Mack in Germany. They won again. I think they're like 3-1. But Becky was saying, I think I saw Becky online saying that they're doing the country roads over there for their games, and Sweet Caroline and
all those things,
all the good songs and stuff. So
that's so funny.
So they're catching on. Again, I'm not a fan of it, but it's here to stay. So we might as well go ahead and enjoy it.
That's funny you said Sweet Caroline. They actually did play that when I was at the Fan Fest last weekend or whatever. Okay. Yeah, they played after Spain beat Saudi Arabia. They were playing different songs. They got a DJ out there, and they went into Sweet Caroline, and the whole crowd, of course, but anyway, so it's awesome, man. Yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about right here again on this Monday morning quarterback edition. You and I've got a very busy week. We're going to talk about that throughout the show. But this weekend, man, 250th birthday celebration for our country. Again, July 4th weekend. Of course, July 4th falling on a Saturday this year. And we got some big news. I guess we can talk about it.
Yeah. Kyle said we could. Going back to the 250, it's amazing. Hester and I were talking about this not long ago. That there's always, and you remember this because you're a big sports guy, obviously, but there's always milestones in our life that you just wonder, that somebody else went through or somebody else experienced. We went through the Cal Ripken. The
Iron Man.
The Iron Man.
Exactly,
and I sat there and had tears in my eyes, and Hester's like, what's going on? I said, you're never going to see this again.
Yeah.
And you really aren't. I don't really think you will.
Yeah.
There are some that you're not going to see again.
Right.
And like this, we're at 250.
Yeah.
And you could obviously you could say that we were at 200 because we were born,
Right.
I was 11. But we're here at 250, and I know I'm not going to experience 300, but no. So I just want to soak it in, and we had lunch with Kyle Ray last week, and then he came down. He came down later to Bradley's, and
a couple Fridays ago.
A couple of Fridays, but no, we're going to be at the 4th of July. Parade celebration in Ellijay, and Kyle asked me if I would be the Grand Marshal, and obviously I told him that I would. I've never been a Grand Marshal of any parade.
So there you have it, folks.
So I made it 60 years. But no, looking forward to it, and it's it's always good to go home, and you hopefully get to see a lot of people that you don't get to see all the time. So we're gonna have a busy day. I think Hester and her friends going to come up. John Henry and his girlfriend's going to come up and spend the day with us, and so it's going to be a lot of fun.
So there you go, man. The cat is out of the bag. Big John Davis, the refrigerator mover, officially the Grand Marshal of this year's Ellijay 4th of July parade and celebration, again presented by your friends at the Gilmer County Chamber of Commerce. Man, I love it. I love it. Hey, we'll talk a little bit more about that and some other things we got going on, and we'll jump back into some sports news as well, some college football stuff. Week 0, man, rapidly approaching, and the ACC going to be putting on some miles. We'll talk about that and much more right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. It's the Monday morning quarterback edition of the Morning Rant presented by your friends at Foundation Wealth in Dalton. Keep it locked right here on the SportsPig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Make your home's air healthier. Green Heating and Cooling can help by installing a Bryant Evolution air purifier just for you. Using Captures and Kills technology, this highly advanced MERV 15 filter captures many select airborne pathogens. It also helps improve indoor air quality for both asthma and allergy sufferers by filtering air impurities like dust, pollen, and pet dander. Call to schedule an evaluation. Green Heating and Cooling, your top Bryant authorized dealer, whatever it takes.
It's time to roll back the clock and relive the biggest moments from the weekend. This is your Mafia Monday Weekend Rewind with a man who knows what it means to battle in the trenches. It's table crushing time on the Morning Rant.
Back here on this Monday morning quarterback edition of the Morning Rant. Time now for our Mafia Monday Weekend Rewind right here. Dave Garner with you again, the refrigerator mover, joining you right here on this Monday inside our Carriage Kia studios here. And man, what a weekend it was. And not so much so for the Atlanta Braves. Again, they lose 2 of 3 over the weekend once again. This time to the Giants. And now all of a sudden, what was basically a 10-game lead in the NL East is now down to about 3 games right now. And who would have known the lead would have evaporated as fast as it has? But again, this is a Braves team that continues to struggle. Their starting rotation hadn't been there. They're not getting the production at the bottom of the lineup like they were earlier in the season. They've been bitten by the injury bug, which I think has been the root of a lot of this as well. And we may very well see a few different younger prospects that might be pushed into some time here pretty soon.
Well, you know what, Dave? If the players aren't going to step up, I think we at the end of the day, I think we have kind of given them the benefit of a doubt, okay, injuries are going to happen, so and so is going to step up, or this has happened, so and so is going to step up. That hadn't happened, and so it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Walt might be making some changes, and hey, do it now. Even if it's before the All-Star break, you can still do it now, and kind of see what you're trying to put together, and then hope that your stars will start producing,
become stars,
play like
become
stars, and so I don't think it's time to panic, but I will say this: I think Don Mattingly has done a hell of a job at Philadelphia with what he's done, especially what happened the first part of the year with Philly,
right,
and stuff. So I mean, they're going to be formidable, and I mean, as much as we love it and everything, you'd like to see a runaway and just kind of cruise into the playoffs, but then in another way, you kind of like to see how a team plays. I always go back, was it 91 or 92, where we were in San Francisco and we were watching a game on the East Coast, I think. The Braves were out there, and the team needed to win. The Braves won, but they needed somebody to win, and then they all stayed at the stadium. I for some reason, that's ingrained with me. Yeah, they stayed at the stadium and watched on the because I think the Giants were going to had the ability to get in the playoffs well.
Yeah, they had to have something happen there in that last game in order to get through there. Maybe they can recapture some magic. Again, the Braves off tonight. They start a homestand tomorrow night against the St. Louis Cardinals. 7:15 first pitch tomorrow night, 7:15 on Wednesday as well. Meanwhile, as we talked about the Travelers Championship, wrapping up just moments ago, it was Victor Hovland winning a one-stroke playoff win over Scottie Scheffler to take the Travelers Championship there this morning. It was a weather-delayed playoff that carried over into Monday morning. So again, that one's over with as well. Wimbledon also getting underway over the weekend as well. The end of last week, and now of course this week kind of starts really the big push there over the next couple of weeks as they get it on the grass there. And of course, World Cup, USA men's team losing 3-2 to Turkey on Friday. and that was a game that a lot of folks kind of looked at and they thought, well, man, you sat a lot of guys there, or maybe was it Thursday night? Maybe it's Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday night.
You sat a lot of guys there, but you kind of had a little bad taste in your mouth there, giving up that goal there in the final seconds there. But obviously, everyone hopefully back at full strength. No, yellow card, this, that, and the other. The table kind of resets, and hopefully, man, USA can get into the round of 16 with a win on Wednesday night, July 1st. Man, what a way to open the month.
Yeah, I know, and we talked about it as well. Obviously, you wanted to go win with some momentum, but with the U.S. Team not playing everybody that they could have. I guess the worst part about it was that they scored in the 90th minute. Right at the end of the game when they had played really well. The announcers had even said that the backups had really done a great job, of containing them and everything and playing their game the way the coach wanted them to play. But no harm, no foul. You just gotta. I think it's one of those games. We used to have games like that in the NFL to where if it was, and there were a couple, but if it was bad enough, they would just, they wouldn't even give us the film. They wouldn't even let us look at it, and which was pretty nice actually. So it's one of those to where they just gotta, don't even watch the film. Let's just go straight to practice, and
let's put that one behind us.
And again, it's everything that they did. It was very predictable, and it's very fixable.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely, man. I love it. Hey, let's open up the phone line. Jasper Coca-Cola text line 866-888-0744. Once again, the Jasper Coca-Cola text line is open. 866-888-0744. And we had a listener already text in and said, if you could only keep one for the next 5 years, who would you choose, Matt Olson or Ronald Acuna Jr.? That's from Oliver. And, that's a good question. I got to say at this point, I think Matt Olson probably has more upside, especially if you consider the injuries than a guy like Ronald Acuna Jr. I know that, maybe a year or two ago that would have sounded absurd. But I think at this point, you're obviously in it for the long haul. I think the thought is that Matt Olson is going to be another Freddie Freeman type of player, with some longevity there. I feel like as far as the Braves go, maybe Acuna, even is still relatively young as he is, how much more upside does he have, particularly with injuries? So I don't know. I would almost go with Matt Olson on that one.
Yeah, no, that would be my first pick as well. And also I know I keep going back and forth with stories and stuff. We always told Thurman. Thurman used to take a lot of hits. And we were like, Thurman, you're 5'8". You're 180 pounds. You can't keep doing this.
Yeah, right.
You just can't. I said, Barry.
At some point, the body's not going to.
I said, look, Barry Sanders isn't taking hits. I mean, that's some son of a gun knows what to do. And I said, you got to. And so he finally figured it out. Because Thurman's one of those that's a knucklehead. He's just he's hard headed and he won't listen. But then we go up and he says, dude, we're not going anywhere without you. So you help us out.
Yeah.
And so that might be like Acuna. I'm not saying don't go 100% every play, but there's some plays to where you don't have to be Superman every play.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
And I know hamstrings happen and I know obliques happen with swinging the bat and stuff like that. But there are times to where, hey, a single's not going to hurt us here.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas you sitting out for 20 days is going to hurt us.
Yeah. And we've seen a lot of that.
But you got to, you got to admire him and you appreciate his competitiveness, but the longevity at this point is what everybody's looking at.
Right.
Exactly. You can't, 8 years ain't going to really get it done for us.
Right.
We're looking for 10, 12, 14
especially
solid
baseball.
years. Yeah. Yes, you're right with baseball. Other sports can be obviously are a little bit different, but baseball's not.
Absolutely. Again, Jasper Coca-Cola text line 866-888-0744. The Braves have actually, started moving some guys around. They did sign Carlos Santana to a minor league deal. We did see over the weekend Eric Hartman a 20-year-old outfield prospect for the Braves, put on a clinic over the weekend in Rome. He was just a hit shy of the cycle for the High Rome Emperors, the Braves affiliate there, 3 for 4 with a couple home runs. And so again, you wouldn't have thought that in a season like this you would have seen a guy like that make the major league club. But I tell you what, if things keep going the way they are, at some point you may very well see the Eric Hartmans and some of these young prospects at some point, just to try to give this lineup a little bit of a lift.
Well, if you're going to pay that much money for him, you got to put him in there.
Yeah.
You go back to Bob Horner. He was the last major league first rounder to actually go straight to the majors.
Went straight.
But no, you've got these kids. I really think if you put them in the right situation, like we got the Weidman kid that went through the Walton program and played at Piedmont College and also at Austin Peay or Western Kentucky. He played. Now he's with San Diego. I mean, the kid, his mother's putting stuff on Instagram. The kid's just it looks like he should be in the majors right now.
Right.
You know, and he's just, and those kids are special. They are athletic. And, but no, I mean, what's it going to hurt?
Yeah,
you got to bring him up. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to send him back down.
Send him back down, give him a little taste. Send him back down if it doesn't work out there. You don't want to push
because that'll help. That'll help mentally as well. That as well as I do.
Yeah.
You get up to the majors and they're going to say, okay, let's see how this kid handles the majors. Let's see mentally and stuff. Yeah. And okay, we brought him up too early. Let's send him back down. or they're like, oh wow, this kid's really we misunderstood or mistook what and then he needs to stay here. So I just think, especially the first rounders, I can't help but think. And look, we watched the College World Series. I mean, some of those guys were. You can't tell me they weren't.
They're beasts. They're not
MLB
can't
ready.
Tell they're not ready.
Yeah,
you're right about
and
that.
Especially the catcher for Tech, and then the 35 pitchers for Oklahoma who masterfully
all of a sudden
who masterfully won that won the World Series and stuff. But especially if they're a first rounder, I would definitely get I know everybody's got to pay their dues. Take them to minor league ball and then maybe single and double. Some of these kids need to go straight to triple. And then bring them on up to the majors.
There you go. The last guy that I can remember doing that for the Braves, basically going in 1 year. Now, there's been some guys that have done it over a span of maybe 2 years, starting out, and then maybe the next year, like the Vaughn Grissams and so forth that kind of worked through the program in more recent years. But I remember Andrew Jones, man, 20-year-old, hit a home run or two in the World Series. At that time, I think was the youngest player, may still be the youngest player to hit a home run in the World Series, but hit two, I think, in one game against the Yankees at 20 years old. Started the season as a rookie in the Gulf Coast League and progressed through all the minor leagues and ended up on the big squad and was playing in the World Series on the biggest stage. But it doesn't happen often. No. It's very rare that happens. But hopefully something can happen to give these Braves a spark. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk some college football, man, some news and notes as far as some scheduling goes as we take a little sneak peek at Week 0. All that much more still straight ahead right here. Our Jasper Coca-Cola text line, as always, is open, 866-888-0744. You're listening to the Morning Rant. Again, Chuck Oliver at the top of the hour, the king of college football with Southern Sports Today, and the Chuck Oliver Show is coming up. But the next half hour of our program coming up with some news and notes. Stay with us on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Welcome to your hometown pub. Open 7 days a week, the pub in Ellijay is your happy hour hangout. They offer a variety of dishes to satisfy every palate, and their friendly staff is here to ensure a wonderful time. Join them for daily happy hour specials Monday through Thursday. And don't forget, every Wednesday is Wing Wednesday with $1 wings all day long. Located at 941 Maddox Drive in East Ellijay. Open Sunday through Wednesday till midnight, Thursday through Saturday till 2 a.m. The Pub in Ellijay, where every visit feels like home. Big opinions of the big games from the big mouths.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's the Morning Rant on WPGY, the Sports Pig, North Georgia's home for ESPN Radio.
Sit down.
Back here on this Monday morning quarterback edition of the Morning Rant, presented by your friends at Foundation Wealth in Dalton. Joel Hudson and the gang over there, Eric Bishop, and all the guys. Coda, man, we appreciate you guys being with us right here. Thank you guys for listening in here on a Monday morning. again, a World Cup week here in Atlanta and all over North America. And, it's not just the U.S., it's also, again, Mexico, Canada hosting as well. Great seeing all the nations come together. We're talking about the Braves a little bit earlier on there. And by the way, our Jasper Coca-Cola text line is open, so give us a shout, man. Let us know what you want to talk about here at 866-888-0744. We were talking about the big announcement we mentioned earlier in the show. In case you missed it, my partner, Big John Davis, who's sitting across from me this morning here inside our Carriage Kia studios, named as the Grand Marshal of the July 4th parade that's going to happen in Ellijay on Saturday night at 7 o'clock, I believe, right, is when the parade is. You're going to be riding in that parade, man. I'm excited about it. I'll be up there with you as well. We're going to be doing, we're going to have a presence up there. We'll have our tent set up. We'll be doing some different stuff, broadcasting social media, different things as well on that day. But looking forward to it. And then the day before that, though, all right, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Yeah. The day before that, this Friday, the final leg of our Bradley's Brunch and Lunch Summer Tour. We're going to be back at Bradley's again on Friday. We'll be going 10-1 as we have over the last couple of times. We were there, of course, the last Friday, not this past Friday, but the Friday before, as we celebrated Father's Day weekend. It's now a big July 4th celebration. So, again, July 3rd, man, you and I are going to spend a lot of time together at Bradley's. July 4th, we'll be in Ellijay all day into the evening there. And, man, looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun weekend.
A lot of fun. Looking forward to going back home and getting to see a lot of people. We're also going to be selling, let's don't forget, some raffle tickets for.
Yep, let's throw it out there, man.
Yeah, for my 3 jerseys from Gilmer, Georgia Tech, and Buffalo Bills, and a signed autographed book of 10 Men You Meet in the Huddle from Bill Curry, which is a fabulous book. But yeah, we're going to be selling raffles up there on Saturday while we're there, and hopefully in the next week or two we'll be doing the drawing for the jerseys. I talked to John Capone about it, and we're going to maybe have a little special night up there and have the drawing at his bar and everything. So but it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see. It's going to be hot.
Yes,
I noticed the weather. It is going to be hot.
Ooh,
so stay hydrated, and I'm sure it's going to be a great day. Like I said, I've never been a Grand Marshal, but I don't even think I've ever been to a parade in Ellijay on the 4th of July, to be honest with you. Even though we lived there for a few years and grew up there as well. But I don't think I've ever been to a parade up there. So I'm looking forward to it. And, the downtown Ellijay has changed so much. It's a lot of fun, actually. I think it was 2 years ago where we were able to go to the rooftop bar. A lot of people have talked about. Fantastic food, the views, and the scenery and everything was great. So going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely going to be fun. Again, visit us on our social media. The Sports Pig, as always, is on Facebook. Our show, The Morning Rant, on Instagram and also on YouTube as well. The podcast version of our show is available on our website every day. SportsPigRadio.com, wherever you listen to your favorite daily podcast, as well on both Apple and Android platforms, including Spotify, Podbeam. You can also interact with us on social media, man. Catch us on Twitter. I'm at Dave Garner 777. He's at John Davis _65. And this is the Morning Rant, presented today by your friends at Foundation Wealth in Dalton. Let's talk a little college football here for just a moment. Again, you and I were kind of peeking ahead at the schedule. Week 0. Again, Thursday, August 27th, and Saturday, of course, August 29th. The first official weekend of college football is now, just a couple of short months away, and a couple of ACC teams going to be putting on some miles there, man, early in the season. Again, the big highlighted game there, North Carolina facing TCU over in Dublin, Ireland, which I know you can relate to that, and we'll let you kind of tell that story. And then, of course, it also looks like NC State and Virginia going to be playing an ACC matchup in Brazil. So it's not just the NFL, it's not just some of these other sports, man. College football also kind of trying to widen its popularity around the world.
Yeah, no, they're doing a great job with it. Dublin's a great place to visit. The only problem that I think we messed up is that we didn't get out in the country a little bit more than we should have.
Right,
I mean, we
yeah.
kind of stayed in town, and Dublin's not that big. So,
Yeah.
I mean, people started recognizing me after the third or fourth day. They're like, how long you staying here? And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I think my flight leaves in a couple of days. So,
Right.
but no, it's a great trip. The great stadium. The fans are fantastic. The one thing that I did find out, and I'm not making a dig at Florida State. Of course, my buddy John Michaelides and Chris, they went there.
Say,
so
be
I
careful
always,
now,
I
man. I know they're good friends of yours.
I know.
now,
I
you
always give them a hard time. Florida State did not leave a very good impression when they were over, because unfortunately John and Chris had to come home right after the game. And we were there for about 3 more days, and of course, Florida State. We all know how good they are, and the talent that they have traditionally.
Yeah, of course.
They're down right now, but we all know where they can be, and they were sticking their chest out and everything. But I told John when we got back home, I said, you didn't hear a lot of talk from Florida State after the game,
right?
And and I was even talking to some of the Florida State fans at halftime, and they were just disgusted. Half of them hate the coach Norvell, and half of them like him. And that's the way I guess that's the way your programs are. Half, you're going to make half happy and make half mad.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But no, they
it's a rule of life.
Yeah, exactly. And then it didn't hurt that our kicker Burr was from Dublin. So so we kind of were, even though it was about 70-30, 65-35 Florida State, Georgia Tech was well represented in Dublin because of our kicker.
With the natives there.
Exactly.
Yes,
so
exactly.
they had pretty much picked their team.
That's so funny.
But it was a lot of fun. And it's a great trip for the kids.
I think it's a great experience for them.
And it won't surprise me if they don't start doing it a little bit more. Since they, if they model it after the NFL and try to, if they're wanting to grow it like they are, which wouldn't surprise me.
I think the game as a whole, kind of being promoted worldwide can only help, the brands or what have you. Speaking of Florida State, they are playing in week 0 against New Mexico State, Hawaii at Stanford. Let's see here, Jacksonville State at North Dakota State, as we mentioned, NC State and Virginia over in Brazil, North Carolina TCU over in Dublin, San Jose State at USC on the 29th. So again, Memphis, UNLV, a couple other matchups there, and then a lot of smaller colleges, D2s as well, playing that week 0 weekend. And then, of course, the following weekend, the first full official weekend of college football, that first full weekend in September, which traditionally is what takes place. You think about it. I mean, here we are. We're sitting here at the 29th today. Well, August 29th is week 0. So, I mean, we're basically exactly 2 months away from kickoff here. And so, man, it's starting to get serious, and just in time, because you and I, again, here in a few short weeks, we're going to be moving to 2 hours.
Yeah.
We're going to be moving into morning drive, which I think will only boost our listenership even more. We appreciate you guys that listen to us, whether you listen to us live on the dial or whether you listen to us, later in the afternoons or evenings on the podcast or on YouTube or what have you. We do appreciate it because, again, we boosted our listenership, but we want to get the show in the most opportune time to pick folks up to get you over the dial. And, that time's morning drive. That's when you're going into work. That's when you're, getting ready for the day. And so we're bringing the show to the people, man. As we always say, you're a man of the people, John. Yep. This is a show for the people.
That's it.
And so we'll be doing that here later this next month.
I'm looking at some of these games, and it's like you said. We're at the end of June now, and I remember in May we were talking about. We're going to try not to talk about football, but football kept coming up.
That went out the window.
Football kept coming
That's out
up.
the window at this
but
point.
Some of these games that are coming up, some of these first games of the season are these gotcha games. Now North Carolina TCU, I don't know how good North Carolina is. I don't know how Belichick fits into that whole program, the college part of it. He's back. TCU is going to be good again. But, I'm looking right here at the San Jose State USC game. To me, that's a trap game, it's just one of those to where I am not in favor of playing a Mercer or a Gardner-Webb or a UTC.
Right, yeah.
It's like I told you before, I would much rather go up to the Big Ten and play at Purdue Purdue, play in Indiana, play Northwestern, schools like that,
right?
And and I'm not slighting San Jose State in any way, but I just these trap games can make or break your season. You saw what happened to Florida State. The Tech game for them was a trap game.
Kind of
for
a trap
them
game, because they came in highly ranked.
What was it, 11th or 9th or 11th or something like that?
Oh yeah, they were definitely up there.
And of course we go in and beat them. last second field goal. So I don't see anything good happening from those games.
Right.
But and again, I see that we're playing Colorado, which Deion's. I'll start doing my homework here in the next couple of weeks, but I don't know if he's turned over his team again. But you're looking here. There's not really any really big games. West Georgia, Kennesaw State for a regional game. It looks like it's going to be a good game.
That'll be a fun one here locally.
It will be. Yeah. That's hopefully they'll be out and watching them. But UAB, Illinois. Yeah. Some of these that just aren't exciting. And then you get into Friday and you start. You just Miami, Stanford. That's not. I mean, Stanford's a lost cause right now.
Yeah. You think about it. Yeah. San Jose State might be one of those teams, since they didn't get invited. Several other Mountain West programs that got in the new Pac-12, but San Jose State didn't. So you never know, man. A team like that may come in with a chip on their shoulder with something to prove, and just to say, hey, man, we should have been invited. And you never know, man.
And they will. Yeah. And they will. Yeah. You're exactly right. Yeah. It's like you go back to recruiting, and one of the reasons why I keep saying is that you go to the Big Mac or the Mac schools, the directional schools in Michigan, Eastern, Western, Northern, and Southern Michigan. Nobody wants to play those teams because those kids have. And my old teammate Mike Devlin used to coach for Toledo.
Okay,
and he says, "Dude," he says, "let me tell you something. These guys have the biggest effing chip on their shoulder that you would ever imagine." I'm like, why? He says, because they're having to play for Toledo when their best friend's playing for Ohio State.
Oh,
I said, how do you think they feel? I said, okay, I understand now.
Yeah,
and then
that definitely makes a little bit of sense.
So when you go in there, nobody wants to play those kids because that's their. It's like I tried to tell Brent Key a few years ago when Citadel came to Georgia Tech. I was wanting to tell Brent. I said, listen, Brent, Citadel gets 11 weekends off. Their cadets get 11 weekends off a year.
Yeah,
football.
Right.
And I said, and you can only imagine how pent up and hyped up they are to play football. Of course, they come into Georgia Tech and they beat us. You know, and I told them, I said, look, you give these guys any momentum, it's over. And by the second quarter, it was over because Tech couldn't turn. Now, we had a crappy coach. It wasn't Brent. Brent was the offensive line coach, and we had Jeff Collins, which was
whole other story.
But you don't want to play teams like Citadel because, like I said, they get 11 days off of the year, and they are going nuts.
And they're going nuts.
They're going to give you everything they got, and that's how these other schools are. They're upset. Their best friend went to Michigan, and they're at Eastern Michigan. And it's embarrassing, and they get mad, and so they're going to bring their best out. So I don't see anything good from scheduling these teams. Indiana State, Purdue, I could see that being a real nightmare.
Right.
Just some of these. Long Island, I didn't even know Long Island had a team. They're playing Kansas.
Yeah, we had a kid at Valdosta that was a transfer from Long Island. He was actually a really good player.
Okay.
But, in that they always say, the most dangerous team is a team with nothing to lose, right?
That's exactly right.
Some of these younger schools, man, they're going to go out there, pull out all the stops. I mean, I remember you said something about Gardner Webb. I remember years ago they came to Tech. Tech had a pretty good team, and Gardner Webb was, 14-7 or something, tight. So, again, some of these smaller schools, these FCS teams or, what have you, D2s or whatever, I mean, they can play. I mean, they got guys that can play, and if you overlook them, they can definitely come back to bite you.
And then my freshman year, we lose to Furman.
Right, yeah.
So and of course we weren't very good, in '83. We were starting to get better because we didn't really know how to win.
Right.
Back then, the '82 class and the '81 class that came in were really the building blocks of Bill's Curry's success for '84, '85, and '86. But when you don't know how to win, it's hard because you don't know how to handle success, and
Sure.
so we were in that situation, and Dave, it doesn't change. I mean, the teams haven't changed that much from '83 to 2026.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
as far as mentality, you're still working with 18 to 22-year-olds.
Right. It's still the same makeup.
Yeah.
It's still the same dynamic in
Yeah.
a lot of ways there. So, yeah. Nonetheless, though, man, looking forward to it. We'll be there before you know it. High school football kicking up right before that. I mean, August 21st, the first official full Friday night of high school football in the state of Georgia, and certainly going to be breaking that down, too, as we get closer and closer. Hey, we're up against our final break. When we come back, final thoughts, and we'll share some news about Bills Mafia. O.J. Simpson not being honored at the new Highmark Stadium. That more straight ahead right here as we wrap up this Monday morning quarterback edition of the Morning Rant. Stay tuned right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the SportsPig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Financial scams are on the rise, and with AI, they're getting more and more sophisticated every day. If someone pressures you to act quickly, ask for secrecy, or request payment through gift cards, wire transfers, or cryptocurrency, stop. Legitimate financial professionals don't rush you or demand unusual payment methods. Before you send money or share personal information, slow down and verify. Protect your future. When in doubt, ask questions.
If you're suspicious of a scam, call the team at Foundation Wealth today at 706-278-0214.
We bring the heat. You bring the trash talk.
Come on, man. Are you serious?
It's the Morning Rant, live on the SportsPig app and sportspigradio.com.
Back here on a Monday morning, man. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Appreciate you guys being with us on the home of ESPN Radio here in North Georgia. That is your very own WPGY, the Sports Pig. Again, Ellijay, Jasper, and all of North Georgia. Dave Garner alongside Big John Davis here on this Monday morning quarterback edition of the program presented by your friends at Foundation Wealth in Dalton. Again, we've talked about a lot of things that happened over the weekend. Excited for the weekend ahead. Tomorrow, our Rally Towel Tuesday edition of the program, we'll break down some tennis for you. We'll talk a little Wimbledon for you. We'll have our 100% chiropractic moment. We'll also keep it real with Billy D. Then on Wednesday, our Winging It Wednesday, we're moving our golden boy, Will Cooper, to Wednesday this week. We'll have our Tomahawk Take, and we'll have a little bit of a prep rally. We'll talk some high school sports as well, and the Cooper Predictor. And then John is picking up Thursday this week. We're swapping days, but we'll have Big John back with us on Thursday and Friday this week. Of course, Thursday, our Tailgate Thursday edition of the program with the Refrigerator Mover. And then on Friday, as we mentioned earlier in the program, our Friday happy hour back at Bradley's Bar and Grill off of Lower Roswell Road in East Cobb. We hope that you can join us that day. We had a good crowd. Well, really, both times we've been there, we've had great crowds. I had an even better crowd last Friday, the previous Friday when we were there, and with this being July 4th weekend, man, no excuses because I imagine a lot of people are off on Friday.
Yeah, no, I've already talked to a lot of people that they're going to come up there. John's got, he's all excited. He's got hamburgers and hot dogs going to be on the grill.
Ooh,
and
there we go.
Yeah, and of course it's going to be in the 90s, so
Yes.
the beverages will be flowing. And so, no, it'll be another great day at Bradley's, and we'll finish up our kind of tour with him. And, John's done a great job. I'm going to spend some time with Kyle Ray. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but John's got a very successful catering business.
Yes.
And so I'm going to introduce him to a lot of people up in the Jasper, Ellijay area because the vineyards and also the
a lot of opportunity,
venues
certainly.
and stuff. So he's got a great catering business as well as his bar business and stuff. So he's excited and looking forward to seeing us again.
I looked at the forecast for the week, and it's going to be the rest of the week. It's going to top out in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be 90, 91. I'm wearing shorts. I wore shorts today, man. I've got shorts on here in the office. I'll probably wear shorts, the rest of the week, especially on Friday. I will be when we'll be outside there at Bradley's, but nonetheless looking forward to it. But it's going to be a hot week, man, so stay hydrated out there. I'm sure we'll hear the same thing from our favorite chiropractor tomorrow, Dr. Keith Riggy, during our chiropractic moment. But, yeah, stay hydrated this week, man. It's going to be in the 90s. Hey, speaking of, man, soccer again, Brazil, Japan today at 1 o'clock. Germany and Paraguay at 4:30, and then tonight it's the Netherlands, the Orange Army, taking on Morocco, who was a semifinalist in the last World Cup back in 22. That one tonight at 9 o'clock. A lot of eyeballs are going to be on that one right there as the round of 32 starts, man. I mean, group play over with. It's time for the knockouts now. Win or go home, man. There's no more ties, no more 0-0, no more 1-1, man. It's overtime periods, and if we still don't have a winner, then it's penalty kicks, man, the rest of the way.
Yeah, all the fun's over. Knowing that you only have to play 90 minutes. But, and watching the game the other day or yesterday with the Canadians and stuff, that's why, I mean, again, I'm nowhere know enough about soccer to be an expert or anything, but do you really want a 0-0 or do you want a 5-5 or
right?
I think at the end of the day 0-0, because once you get into what do they play? I think 30 minutes and then they go to penalty kicks, I believe is
right. Yes,
how it goes
there. Yeah,
it's I mean, I for one am all for the penalty kicks. I'm all for the pressure that's put on those guys.
Right. Yeah.
And then me sitting there saying to the goaltender says, really, you really went that way?
Yeah.
I could see it on TV that he's going to kick it, to the right, and you would go left every time. So,
right.
But that's our Monday morning chair quarterback.
There we go. That's our Monday morning quarterback.
And we have that right. We have that right.
Exactly,
to do that.
man. That's what we do right here on Mondays, right? We also come at you with some bold takes as well, and Big John, man, here in studio with us right here. Time to rock and roll.
Bold takes from the big man himself. It's Big John's Bold Take of the Week, only on the Morning Rant.
All right, back here. We're always, man, hot takes, bold takes right here on the Morning Rant, home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. We were talking a little bit before the break. A lot of folks honored, especially anytime they open up a new stadium, but it kind of broke over the weekend, the official response from the Buffalo Bills, the new Highmark Stadium. O.J. Simpson not going to be honored inside the new stadium there. And again, I just kind of want to get I don't even know if you have a bold take or not, just kind of want to get your thoughts on that, being a former Buffalo Bill.
Well, the only thing I have to say about this, and I'm not going to get into did he do it, did he not do it. It's over and done with. One of the things that I guess that kind of surprises me is that why didn't they take his name off the Wall of Fame in '94? You know what I'm saying? Or 95,
right.
Whatever year it was. They left it up there the whole time, and then all of a sudden we get a new stadium, and they're not going to honor him. I find that kind of hypocritical. I also find the Pagulas, or especially Terry, really hypocritical with all the social justice things that he's doing. It's really pissed a lot of people off in Buffalo, and they're starting to kind of get upset, especially after they came out with the new prices of the seats. With the new stadium.
That'll do it.
At least lay off of everything else if you're going to screw us on $400 a game tickets and everything. But they've just decided they're not going to put them up. I don't even know how they're going to honor all the other players unless they have a wall somewhere that's going to put all the names up there. Of course, we had a lot of them from the 90s that have been on there, and there's still some more that should be put up there, but they're not going to honor them, and I mean, that's fine, but my whole thing is take them off the wall, at Rich Stadium. Previously, and they didn't do it. So, but it is what it is. I know they're excited. I talked to my buddy Mark Butler and Jim Prentice up there, and they're excited to go to the new stadium. And actually,
it looks fantastic.
It worked. It's just unbelievable. And the neat thing about Mark and them is that where they park with the old stadium, it was a little bit of a hike, and and I'm like, so I went a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, because he had to put his down payment on for the game day parking and everything. Because they park at houses. It's like Green Bay.
It's in a neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a neighborhood.
So
and we go down and we're sitting there in the driveway, and the people who own the house, they have it all. I mean, they do game days right. I mean, now they're paying for it, but they do game days right. And Mark looks at me and he said, Big John, he says, you know what? He says, stadium's going to be right there next year. And I was like, holy crap, they're going to be able to party until 12:55 and then take a 5-minute walk and sit down right before the game and stuff. Man. So that's, that's the fun part. One of my favorite memories, and I know I'm rambling, but one of my favorite memories was that we met some people, my very first game of preseason from Dunkirk and Fredonia, where we had training camp, and we were friends with them for the whole 6 years that, I was there. And they sent us a picture of me, Hester, and Olivia at our last tailgate with them. But the tailgating up there, those small towns, they know how to tailgate. Yeah, I know the Mafia is a little bit wild. There's not going to be any jumping on the tables and stuff. But those small towns with the stadiums and stuff, they do a great job of tailgating, and it's just one big. It's 100,000 people family. You know? And
there's so many other things to do in some of the larger cities around the country that. When you get a town where maybe they only have 1 or 2 professional sports teams and maybe not quite as hustling, bustling as the major metropolises like New York and LA, the fan bases tend to be even a little bit more rabid and that's what's so great about it. The towns are kind of built a lot. I know in Green Bay it's built around that team. Right. There ain't nothing else in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Right. It very much is that way. But man, it's fun. I'm excited for the Mafia. I'm excited for the new Highmark Stadium, and excited for anytime anybody opens stadium. Nashville, right up the road. The Titans are going to be opening up another one as well, and probably getting a Super Bowl. So be interested to see what happens right here. Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not going to be. I'm going to get up there this year. Not going to be able to get up for the first game or two. We and I can say it because I know he's not listening, but we do not have a good liaison with the legends with the Bills and stuff. But when they call you back and say that they're going to put your name on a list, you might get a ticket. Then the airlines aren't going to give me my money back. I gotta book a flight to come up, man. And you're sitting here telling me that I might get a ticket or not. So I've had to call in a couple of favors, and I've got a good friend, Charlie McPhail, and his wife and kids. They're big Bills fans, and they get season tickets. And Charlie told me, he says, "Dude, whenever you're ready, let's fly up." And I'll take you. Man. I love it. Okay, somebody there we go. Outside of the Bills organization's taking care of me. Oh man, I love it. Hey, we're out of time on this show, man. Big John, thanks for bringing us always here on a Monday, partner. Great to be here. All right, man. We'll see you tomorrow morning right here again on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. This is the Morning Rant right here on the SportsPig app and online at sportspigradio.com. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
When you get hurt from an accident, it can feel like no one is listening to you. The insurance company talks over you. The bills keep coming. It's like the pain and inconvenience doesn't even matter to them. But your story does matter. And here at Geiger Legal, we will make sure your story is heard loud and clear. My name is Casey Geiger, and my firm stands up for people who have been wronged through someone else's negligence. Let us tell your story. Let us get the justice you deserve, and let's start today.
Call Geiger Legal Group at 833-HELP-GLG. That's 833-HELP-GLG, and let us tell your story today.